AITA for telling my friend I will never go to a bar with her BC of the way she acts. I am not a crazy drinker/clubber, but I do go out a few times a month with my two best friends, and sometimes we bring boyfriends, co-workers, etc. The biggest group we've ever had was maybe 8 people, but it's mostly just the 3 of us. The issue is that I have another friend, Mary, who desperately wants to go out with my other friends and I. All summer she asked to go to a bar with us, but I kept on refusing/making excuses. I don't want to be mean to Mary, she is a very sweet girl and I've known her since childhood, but she is a little socially immature and has no experience drinking, unlike my other friends who I've been drinking with for years. I had her over for a gals' night twice this summer, and both times she was drunk after one drink. She was stumbling, flirting with my brothers, and overall not fun to be around considering I was completely sober. I feel like it would be embarrassing to take her to a club, as well as kinda annoying to have to babysit her basically as soon as we get there. Not that I would abandon her if something did happen, I just want to avoid that situation. One night Mary and I went to a local fair together. I didn't even think about alcohol being there, and she bought a drink. Surprise, surprise, she was acting drunk after only a few sips, and she kept insisting that we should go out to a real club the following week. I was annoyed and told her flat out that I would never go to a bar with her because of the way she acts around alcohol. She got defensive and, for lack of a better term, sobered up after I said that. That was 2 weeks ago and she still hasn't gotten the hint that I don't want to go out with her. She's asked me both weekends since to go out. I don't want to hurt her feelings, but I just don't want to deal with it anymore. I already put my time in being messy and throwing up in house parties, and that was embarrassing enough at the time. Now that I'm going out to real bars, I am over that kind of behavior. But at the same time I feel bad BC I keep blowing her off for ultimately selfish reasons. I know that I am being a bad friend, and if I were her I would feel bad, but I just don't feel like babysitting her when we go out, which is what I know will happen. Comment. Honesty would be much better for your friendship. Find a way to tell her directly that her behavior while drunk makes you uncomfortable. Someone should be honest with her about this, and it would be more meaningful to hear it from a friend. Full agreement there. Some folks also have a low tolerance for alcohol, and it sounds like she's one of them. Nobody's fault, but if you value her friendship, be honest with her, in a kind way. I don't know if say it's not being a good friend if you have a friend that wants to share an interest and you don't want to do anything to help them get into it. Sure, not drinking publicly with an inexperienced person is a reasonable boundary. The solution should be to help the friend gain experience, not blow them off. I think you can find a better way to voice your opinion gently to your friend. You're under no obligation to do anything, but if you want, find a time to talk to her alone and focus on your feelings rather than her behavior. I don't like drinking as much anymore and feel a bit uncomfortable when others get tipsy. I know you're looking to have a good time, but we might not be on the same page in terms of our plans for a night out. As an adult, you're not obligated to spend time with, including party with, anyone who you don't want to be around. Barring cases like parenthood/marriage, spending time with them is kind of a given for healthy relationships and families, but friends and randos are entirely your call to make if you want to be around them. Have you considered that being that drunk after a few sips is highly unlikely, and maybe she is just using the pretense to give her the confidence to be social and flirt? Reminds me of a time when we were 16 and had a party at a friend's house and begged the parents to provide wine. They did, but unbeknown to our naive teen selves, bought alcohol-free stuff, and switched the labels. The amount of drunk kids at that party was astounding, given there wasn't a drop of booze present. I'm in my 50s and still have those types of boundaries. If you're a messy, sloppy drunk, starting fights, throwing up in Ubers on the way home, basically having zero chill, I am done going out with you. I'll come to your house and the girls can have drinks there and let your husband deal with your nonsense when we go home. LOL. Next story 2. Whipta if I don't move out so my landlord's parents can move in? Okay, so, I got some absolutely shitty news yesterday evening after my partner and I returned from our little vacation. Yesterday evening I asked for advice regarding processing it and the legal side, but now that it's had more time to compute, I'm thinking about the moral side and I'm concerned about how I plan to act. Our landlord lives in the house with us and owns it. We have the bottom floor as our apartment, and she has the top floor with her partner. When we got home yesterday afternoon, she came down to tell us that her parents are in very bad shape medically. One has dementia and needs round-the-clock care essentially, and the other has a terminal illness and is in hospice care. They live in a house that has 2 roads out, but one consists of a damaged bridge that the city won't pay to fix, and the other is a logging road that won't be plowed in the winter, so he parents need to be out of that house and moved into somewhere else by December 1st. LL told us she has been calling every assisted living facility she can, but so far she hasn't had luck finding a place for her parents. She said if she can't find somewhere in the next few weeks, my partner and I will need to move out so that her parents can move in. She said the latest we'll know by is November 1st, but obviously that is still short notice and there is almost no vacancy anywhere in our area. On top of that, we only just moved in, August 1st, and I moved over 1,000 miles away from home. Partner and I signed this lease mid-July, and I just secured a new job last week, and we were looking forward to staying at least to the end of our one-year lease, if not renewing. Honestly, this apartment is perfect for us. We're already in love with it and have spent money on some small renter-friendly renovations and we have it fully furnished now. We're almost completely unpacked and I was just about to finally sort my wardrobe. Now we're stressed and my partner doesn't even want to finish unpack since LL said there's a roughly 30% chance at this point that she will need us to give up the space to her parents. I understand she's in a tight spot, but I'm already here and invested and I have a lease. I want to stand my ground and have been looking into resources in case it comes to that. But would I be an asshole if I did? Comment. So, it looks like there's no allowance for landlord use, but it seems that's not required in Vermont, looks like they only have to give you notice. I don't think you have. The source cited up thread says that for cases where the LL lives in the same house as the tenants there is a right to do this, but the way the law is written doesn't clarify whether having a written lease that is silent on the matter changes things. It could be a good idea to speak to a housing attorney regardless, there are often legal aid programs for housing issues specifically, and ask about this. If she does try to evict you, you might be able to negotiate for her to pay for movers and whatever the difference in your rent at a new place would be, within reason, which would be a pain short term, but probably less hectic than a legal battle with someone in the same house as you. From reading the post and all your comments thus far, YTA. It sounds like they have made every attempt to find alternate housing for their parents. They have given you 3 months notice to vacate, which is a lot of time. They are willing to pay you the penalty for their breaking the lease early. They seem like decent people. You just sound like you can't be bothered to put in any effort to move. Why you would want to continue sharing a house with people you plan to threaten with a lawsuit to stay in makes no sense. You posted this in a lot of places. Go find a local lawyer for some advice. It seems like 1/2 month rent to break the lease on the LL end is pitifully small. You invested a lot in this move and will have to invest more to move out and find a new place. Or don't move at all, but then I'm not sure you'd want to live in the same building as her if she is not going to be happy about it. Amicable solution with the force of law to back it up is the way to go. It depends where you live. If I'm not mistaken, in LA a landlord/property owner can evict a tenant if a family member needs to move in. So essentially, depending where you live, you may not have a choice. Edit, you're in Vermont, so while the above doesn't apply, the landlord only has to give you notice of what's happening and they can terminate the lease agreement. Try r/legal, but as I understand it, you don't have any legal ground to stand on. YTA if you try to force the issue. I doubt your landlord wants this outcome, but sh*t happens and she is already in a terrible situation. If you drag this out in court or something, good luck finding another place with an eviction and all of this on your record. Ask for moving costs, security deposit back, and 2 months money equal to market rate rent aka FU inconvenience money to vacate. Then be a decent human being and move out. Yeah, it sucks, but you're being an asshole. Your landlord's parents have dementia and terminal illness. She's going to not renew the lease anyway in a year and she's going to hate you every step of the rest of the lease duration. You're going to have to move out anyway. Make the separation affordable enough for your inconvenience and then stop being an asshole.